Hi, you're watching Freedom Machine, and today I'm going to show you how to detect a faulty ignition coil. First thing we need to do is remove both side panels so that we can lift the tank. And to lift the tank, obviously, we need to remove the seat. So let's do that really fast. There are two of these snuffits that you have to remove from the inside, and you just need to push in that little button here and they come off. So that's one. That's number two. Free up the breather hose and the drain hose so that they can slide up a little with the tank, right? It's good to use elastic bands because if you hit the tank by accident and you have something rigid holding it, the tank will go back and will eventually fall down. This will keep it in place. So we need to remove the air filter, 2 bolts on each side. Then we want to disconnect this cable here, so press the tab and push down. This is off, and then we want to free up these 2 belts. There is one on each side. On this side it's a little bit harder to get in, but it's okay. Just loosen this up. Now we can lift the air filter, and there is a little hose underneath. There's a hose that we need to disconnect. Let's see if we manage. It's not easy. So there's a little clamp that we need to press and slide down the tube, and that's it. Now we can lift out the air filter. Now we can access the ignition coils. There are 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 4 bolts that are holding them in place that we need to remove. This one's. So we get there in there with the swivel head, and let's start with the first one. That's the first one. Obviously this is going to be much easier if you don't have a camera in the way. So the coil is actually sliding out from the plastic. That's okay as well. We will pull out the plastic later. So the coil looks very clean, so clearly water didn't go inside. So we check what's the condition of this coil. But first we remove also the other one. Alright. Not easy. Okay. So this is a little bit strange situation because the coil came out but the plastic is still there. Both coils look really good. I mean, they're clean, so water clearly didn't go inside. So we need to measure those. Let's see if we can do that. Okay, one is coming out. Again, very clean, no water went down. Again, doesn't seem like water went down. So if we look at the manual, we can see that the primary coil resistance has to be between 1.19 and 1.61. Now I'm going to show you how to measure the primary resistance, and then there is a secondary resistance that we need to measure, because in fact what the coil does, it's increasing the voltage. So there's a primary and a secondary coil, and that's not what we want. So the secondary coil has to be between 8.5 and 11.50 kilo ohm. So let's just keep in mind those numbers. So this is what we call a multimeter, and you can measure a lot of things. You can get these for even 15 euro. You can get smaller ones. Now this is a more professional one, but it doesn't really make a difference for this measurement. So we need to set the correct scale. You can maybe read the instructions of the device, but we want to measure ohm, so we set it to 200 ohm maximum. So this is the maximum that we can measure. So we are selecting the scale. Later on we need to measure 8 kilo ohm, so we select the maximum scale to 20 kilo ohm. So first of all, there is a resistance due to the leads. So if you put it back to 0 to 2 ohm, so there is a resistance there that is already fairly high, so we are not going to get an accurate reading because the resistance is very low. So let's take the first coil, and so the primary is measured here where the actual contacts are, so because that's where the voltage is applied, and then there is a secondary coil that is increasing this voltage, which will measure between one of these points and the actual tip where the spark plug is connected. So let's try that. Let's measure the secondary first. That's good. Go to ohm. Okay, so here we are very close to a good value, 1.9, 1.8. Primary. Two, 1.9, 1.9, and 1.9. Right, yeah, I'll measure the same. 9.65. 9.75. 9.88. 9.94. They're all within